Recording in progress.
Yep. Good evening, everyone. Yesterday we learned about few API requests, how to handle. So all the API methods we learned are with the JavaScript as X and fetch. Another one is jQuery as X. Another one is Axios. These are the various ways of communicating with API we learned. Yesterday we saw one example how we can fetch the data and how we can access data and present. We will create one small example and we will see how to work with all the data. Already I showed you all mechanisms in various ways how you can fetch data from APIs. I hope you tried all jQuery, Axios and all these things. Now we will see one example. We will create a simple shopper template. We'll create a simple shopper template. In this shopper template, what we will do is we will try to achieve here ready-made APIs we will use. As I told you that first we will work with those ready-made APIs, then we will create. So what we will do is you have a API called fakestoreapi.com. You can visit this. These API provides some data related to ERP packages. You can try them. If you have done these kind of APIs in JavaScript and all, here you will feel little easy in interactions, because generally JavaScript APIs also I showed you a lengthy process of communication. So actually this fake store provides some requests. We will try to handle them. Actually, these people provide some data. You can see this is the fake store API. This is fake store API. It is having some data here. This is a API for e-commerce shopping website like that. And they provide some data ready-made. We will use that data. They provide some data here. And actually it is using REST API. Already I showed you REST mechanism. REST is a query request and a JSON response will come. Already we discussed what is SOAP, REST, another one JSON. Now we will try to, you see they given a fetch promise, but we will use our React related Axios or any third party. You see there are so many methods here for handling different kind of data it is having. Actually, these methods are providing data to us. Actually, they have get method. Get method is having like slash products. Actually, it returns an array of objects. It will return array of objects. They have some 20 products. They will give you all those products in an array. Array of products it is going to return. Next, you have like get products /1. Actually, this is going to return one object. This is going to return specific product. So only one product. So which product? That depends on which ID you pass. They have some 20 IDs. In those 20 IDs, 20 products information is present, right? And they have another one, products/categories. This is an array of string type. It is an array of string type. So it returns all the categories available. What are the categories available? And their list it will display products categories, and they are string type. This is a string type array returned actually. Now we have another get like products/category/category name. This is going to return an array of objects again, but this is related to only products that belong to that category. It is going to return only the products that belong to that category. Actually, they have different categories like electronics, like men's clothing, women's clothing, jewelry, different categories are there. They will give you those categories related information that is available here, right? Now, these are the APIs, and these APIs are defined inside this fakestore.com. You can test these APIs initially. So what we can test is here. Let's open and test. You see products. It is going to return all the products here, right? It is going to display all the products. And actually this products is an array of object. And every object have some details like ID, title, price, description, category, image, rating. Rating is again object. Now we must able to interact with the data. You see they have products/1. It will return only one product. That is an object. We have like products/categories. It will display all categories. It is a string type array. So we have like products/categories/jewelry. It returns only jewelry category related products. Like that, we have ready-made some data. This data they are providing from their database, right? So now what we want to do is we want to interact with this data. We want to interact with this data. Let's see. We will create a simple design. Yesterday I showed you how we can present data coming from API in a card style. This data we are fetching from NASA API and we are using it. Let's create another template now. So I'm creating a new component. So our main intention is handling interactions with the data, not just presenting the data, creating various interactions with the data. Because data contains only data source. The interactions are designed by the front-end developers. That means filtering, searching, sorting, all such activities we can manage. So data is only one, but interactions are many. Those all interactions, React developers' responsibility. We need to create all those interactions. Let's see. So here I am using a new component called, I'm adding a folder shopper. Okay. And I will give a new here shopper.jsx. So it is a shopper component. Let's create. So export function shopper, and it will return a simple container fluid. And here we are adding in the startup. Let's keep that shopper. First, we will learn how to design one complete example. Then we can make it more effective with a lot of event bindings and all. First, with design like this, we will create a basic design. So we have a header, and this header we have a div, and this is shopper, and this will have class name. So the class name I will give as heading 2. That is the ready-made class we are having. Okay, 3. Then we have another div. In that we have a span. So this is home, and later we can make it work. And what we will do, class name, margin end is 2. So this is home and some details. So we have electronics, we have jewelry, and we have like men's clothing. So we have like women's clothing. Yeah. Like this we are having. Now there is another div here. In this we have a simple button, roughly we have, and span as class name cart, bi, and bi cart 4 something. And we have a span class badge. And temporarily I will keep some data there. Later we can update the data. So bg, this is some dark or danger. Okay. We have rounded and rounded circle. And we have the class name btn, and this is btn, just btn, and position relative. And for this we have position absolute. So top 0 and end 0. This is all design, bootstrap design we are creating, and this is the design we are having. So here we are having text. So your cart, that's the button we have actually. That is your cart. Fine. Now what we need to do here is just we will add the header with a class deflex, justify content between. And this is the option we are having. Header have a padding 2 and BG suppose dark and text white. So this is the shopper template, BG some dark text white, and suppose this is having BTN light. Okay, this is the top we are having. That is the header we created. And this is margin and 4 I will give. The some gap will come between them. That's fine. This is the header we are having. This is the header. Okay. Now we created a small header at the top. Now what we want is in the left panel, I will create. So below this header, I will create a section. Okay. And in this section, I will keep class margin top as 3. And here we have a nav and a main area. So I will keep row as the class and call 3. And we have, this is class name. Class name is call 3. And here class name is call 8, 9. Okay. That is the number of columns to display in the main area. Now in this, what we are doing is, suppose say it is 2 and 10. And here we are adding a div with a label. So as a select category, and this label will have a class form label. Below that we have a div. So we have a select. This is having a class form select. And here we will add font weight bold. These are all the bootstrap classes we are having. Select category. Now what we want is, we need to fetch data from the API and display all the categories here and display all the products in the main area. Whatever data is present in that API, we need to get that. So I am creating here. First we will import. Import one is use state from React and import use effect from React. One is for mounting, another for state. And we have to import Axios to communicate with APIs. Now we will create a constant. So one is categories. This is set categories. And it is use state. So use state, and it is an array. That is an array of string type. Because all the categories are string type array. So this is the request they are having. All the categories you can get from here, and it is all string type array. That is one. And one more is, we need all the products. Products is array of objects. That means now what we need to do, we need to create another constant. What is it? Products. We have what? Set products and use state. It is an array of object. What every object is having? Every object is having an ID, is number type. Title is a string type. It is having a image, which is a string type. And it is having, so price, which is number, which is having category. Category is also string type. It have description. Description is also string type. It have rating. Rating is an object. In the rating object, rate is a number and count is also number. This is all the data coming from that API. So you see, this is the data coming from API, fake store /products/1. This is every product related detail. Every product have an ID, have a title, have a price, description, category, image, rating. Rating is an object with rate and count. That is all the data coming. So we kept all the data relative. This is all the data coming. Now what we need to do is we will write a function. The function is get categories. This function have to load all the categories into state categories. I am not writing use effect. I am writing a function because I need to reuse the functions. Suppose I want to load the categories every time. When user changes a category, products must load. When user adds a category, another list of products should load. So I want the same functionality several times. So then we will write a separate function, get categories. What this function will do, it will fetch the data from API and load into the categories state. So here we will use Axios. Axios have a shortcut get from where http fake store API.com/products/categories. This is going to return all categories array. So it is a promise. That means we have to use then. Then we'll return the response. And what we need to do, the response data we need to add into categories. Set categories is nothing but response.data. Because you know Axios response contains lot of details. Yesterday we learned about that. So yesterday already we discussed what are the response details that Axios will provide. Okay, this is get categories. Fine. Now I will write the mount phase. What is the mount phase use effect? Use effect is a mount phase for component and dependency is empty. Now what we need to do here is on the mount, we need to get categories. Get categories is the function which is executed at the time of mounting. That means automatically all these categories are loaded and they are stored in the categories array. At the time of mounting, this function will execute and load all the categories. Where to display them? We want to display all the categories in this drop down. So drop down uses a binding expression. What is the collection? Categories map. We have to read every category. And for every category, we need to create a option. And this option contains a key. Key is category and the value also category. Now you can see all the categories are loaded here. These are all the categories coming from that particular API. But I want all these categories in uppercase letters. I will put here .to uppercase. So to uppercase is a JavaScript string function. It will get all the categories names here. In the categories, by default, category name starts with electronics. But I want some category name all. There must be all. But in their list, they don't have all. It's okay. We can add. What you can do. This is get categories. And this is response. Response data is an array. That array, in that array, we need to add first item as all. How to add any item as first item in array? You know that response dot data is an array. In that we use unshift. You know array methods in JavaScript. Unshift will add first item. Push will add as last item. Splice will add at any specific position. Right? I will give all. That means before it loads, it will add one more item into that and it should get that and display all here. So the first item is all. After that, we have electronics, jewelry, men's clothing, and all these options. Remember, they are displayed in uppercase. They will submit in uppercase. Then again issue. Why? Because in their data, it is not uppercase. In their data, it is lowercase category name. Then it will mismatch because capitalization matters. Then what we do is, when user selects in the drop down, so this drop down can have a option value. Value we will give category without converting to uppercase. That means you know that every option in drop down contains text and value. Text is what you want to display. Value is what you want to submit. So the text we kept in uppercase, but the value we are submitting is lowercase. That is what we are doing. Why we need to do like that? Because in their data, the category name is in lowercase. And in drop down, you kept uppercase. Then what will happen? It will submit uppercase on. Then again, what you do while submitting, convert uppercase to lowercase. Instead of that, directly submit lowercase. That you can define with value. Okay, now this is okay. This is loading all the categories. All the categories are ready. Now I want to load all the products here. Means all the products must be loaded here. But this is not standard. Their products will be changing. They will be changing according to which category you selected. That means this is not a standard list. This is a list which will be keep on changing. First time it may show all products. Second time it may show only the products that belong to category. That means I need to load products, but they are not standard. Then what I will do is here, I will create another callback function here. And this function will have get products and it is expecting URL, a parameter. That means now get products depends on what URL you pass. So what we will do, you will use axios.get, get from that URL. After that, then whatever response comes, this response you have to store in set products. Set products, we have response.data. That's it. That means now what we are doing is we are using get products. Get products is expecting URL. When you pass URL, only those products it will get. And it will store in products array. Products array is an array of objects. It's an array of objects. And every object must contain ID, title, image, and all this. In their data already they have. So now what we will do? So we will access like this. So use effect means on mount phase. At the time of mounting, we will get products also. But get products is expecting URL. Initially, it should load all products. Then all products URL is http fakestoreapi.com/products. It will return all products. That means now it will pass this URL into this get products. It will fetch those products and it will get the response and it will store in products. Now products array contains all the products we want to display in the main. So in the main area, we are using products.map. We are reading every product and implies every product. For every product, we will design a card, just like yesterday we designed cards. So class name is card and padding 2, margin 2. Every card style width I will give as 200 pixel. Every card have 200 pixel. Okay. And this I need to keep in an expression. That's important. Okay. Now every card will have a top. So I will keep an image. So image source. Image source is coming from product dot image. Product have a image. Now here we are defining class name as card image top, and I will give height of the image as some 140 pixel. Below that, we will create another div class as card header. In the header, we will put a paragraph. There we will put product title. Okay. Next, in the div, we have class card body. In the card body, we will keep a data list, data term. Here we have price, data definition. We will print the product price. And you have the option, another data term, rating. So we have data definition, span. So class BI star fill and text success. And here we will print product dot rating dot rate. And beside it, we will print here. So product dot rating dot count. Okay. And this is the card. Every card have this one. These are all the products. Remember, these are all displayed in the main. For main, I will give dflex, just T5, not just T5, I will give flex wrap. And for this, I will give height style. Here we will give height as some 500 pixel, and anything other than that overflow, I will give auto. Now in the main, we are displaying all the products here. That means these are all the products displayed in the main area. So we have all these products coming from that particular API. So these are the products, and we'll do one thing. And every card header style, I will give height as 130 pixel. So 130 pixel. Okay. And we will keep overflow as auto. And one more is, in every card, this is the body. We will keep another div and a class name card footer. In this, we will keep a button and class BTN danger. And we have a span. So class have BI cart 4, and we have add to cart. And this is button is having W100 width 100. At the footer, every product have add to cart button. Every product is having add to cart button at the bottom. So we are displaying this in the body section. We are adding this in the main area. So that is the basic data coming. So the data we are fetching from fake store and we are displaying. Categories are displayed in that drop down. Products are displayed in the main area. Whatever data is there, we are able to present. But now we need our users to easily manipulate this data. For example, users can filter the data by category. That means what I want is, I want to display the list here. When user selects jewelry, only jewelry should come. When user selects men's, its men's should come. That means we have to write a logic for on change of category. So let's write. So let's write a function here. So we are writing a separate function. This function is handle category change. Handle category change. We should get the category name from the drop down. So we will use an event argument E. We will use an event argument. First, just to understand, is it correctly coming or not? I will keep an alert E dot target dot what value, because we need to verify capitalization correctly coming or not. So you see, this should fire up when user is changing the category. So for drop down, we have to use an event binding on change. Handle category change. That is the function it should handle. Now you can see, so I am defining here electronics, then electronics is coming. I selected men's clothing is coming. So working fine. That is working fine. Okay. So now what we need to do is, we need to load only the products that belong to that category. Then actually they have, remember, that depends on how they provide you API. Sometimes what they do, they will provide only one request. In that request, all data will be there. In that request, all data will be there. Then you have to filter manually by using your array filter functions. I hope you learned in JavaScript array find and filter methods. For example, suppose here, they haven't given all these. They given only products, which will return all the products. Suppose you see, like products is an array. In that array, it is returning all products. It is returning all the products. Now tell me how to get only the product whose ID is matching with 2. In this array, how to get only the product whose ID is matching with 2. Then usually in your JavaScript array methods, you have a method called find. Find uses a callback function. And usually here we use shorthand technique. I'm just writing JavaScript general function. This function will read every product. It will read every product and it will return the product whose ID is matching with the ID you pass. This is how it will return. That means this is how we write the query. Now what our API designers will do is, to make this easy for us, they write these queries in the database itself. They will create these queries in the API itself, and they will provide a simple API so that you don't need to filter in the client side. Because when client side you are filtering, you are giving more burden, right? That means filtering lot amount of data client side is always risky. Then ask your API to filter and keep ready. So that is the reason API people will create all the queries, hundreds of queries for every purpose, one query. Otherwise, you have to implement like this. Suppose I want all the products whose category is electronics. Then how? So products is an array. In that we have to use filter method. Filter is the method. We have a function. This will read product. And what filter and find difference is? So it will return product whose category is equal to what? Electronics. If I use find, it will return only first occurrence. If I use filter, it will find every occurrence. That means it will return all the products whose category is matching with electronics. Suppose I want all the products whose price is greater than 500. Then you can just use a condition here. Condition is what? Price greater than or equal to 500. This is how we actually do the filters. But now we don't need these filters for category wise. Why? Because already they provided API for that. Then we can try this API. What is this API? Products / category / category name. It will return only the products that belong to that category. So what we will do now? So what we are going to do is here on change, we will get products. Get products is going to get the products based on the URL. And here the URL is http://fakestoreapi.com/products/category name, which is coming from dropdown. That means here we put a binding expression because I am writing backtick. Backtick is JavaScript string with binding expressions. So, and here we are writing, what is it? e.target.value. The category name we are passing. That means now what will happen here is here. So this is all. I am writing jewelry, only jewelry products will come. Now it is filtering. I selected men's clothing, only men's clothing will come. I am selecting women's clothing, only women's clothing will come. I selected electronics, electronics will come. I am selecting all, nothing will come. Because we don't have any logic for that. That means now we need to write a condition here. What is the condition? Condition is if e.target.value is equal to all, right? If it is equal to all, then load all products. That means we have to use get products. Which products it should load? HTTP fakestoreapi.com/what? Products. It will load all products. Otherwise, load only the product that matching with the category. That is the basic condition we need to write. Right? That is the condition how you define. Now you can see here, it is going to display that. I selected jewelry, only jewelry products will come. And I selected all, then again all products will come. It's working fine. That means we are actually there is no all in their list. We added manually that and we are applying that in the filter. Now that is the basic how we can set the filter. Now what I want is when user clicks on any product add to cart, that item must be added here. That means that item must be added there. So one item in the cart, 2 items in the cart, we want to display that. That means now what we need to do, first thing is we need to maintain an array of cart items. That means whatever items they are adding in the cart, we will maintain in a separate array. We will keep that in a separate array. So how do we keep that in a separate array? So we will do like this. What we can add here is generally, so we can define one more option in the state. we need to create a constant and cart items and set cart items. Cart items use state and it is an empty array. It is an empty array. This array is not yet decided. But this is an empty array of what type? Same product type. Huh? I will copy that. That is an empty array of product type. That's what it is, right? That means cart items contain collection of only the items that they added to cart. Now, the question here is, when user clicks on this button, add to cart button, how do we know which button they clicked, which product they clicked? So that means when user clicks this button, then we have to send this product related ID to the button click event. So we need to write an event for add to cart button click. So when you write an event for add to button click, what is the problem is, how many buttons are there in the design? Only one button. Only one button is there in the design. It is repeating. Now, if you write a function, the same function will repeat for all buttons. Then how the button knows which product button they clicked? So that means now when user clicks the button, we will write one function here. We will write a function. So the function is add a handle, add to cart click, handle add to cart click. Now we pass a event argument. Now this button, so you see this button, where is add to cart button at the bottom? Huh? This is the button. So for this button, we have to write a event on click. On click, handle add to cart click. On that, what we can do is, this button, for this button, we will put a, for this button, we will put a value. And the button value, we will put product ID. We will put the button value as product ID. The button value as product ID. That means what will happen whenever user clicks this button, we can collect the value of the button, which is that particular product's ID. Right? That means now see what we have to do in this event. Handle click, add to cart click. What we need to do? Here we need to define what we need to define. So we have event. How do we configure the event? So first I will write a simple alert to get that e dot target dot value. Target dot value is button value. That means now click that buttons and try. I will select electronics and I will select jewelry. I click add to cart of second, then its ID is 6. That is good. That means it is able to access the ID. ID is 7, ID is 6. Now what I need to do is get that particular ID product and add into cart items array. That means there is a separate array called cart items. Into that, add that item. Now the question is how to get that particular ID related item. For that, they have another API. This is going to get the product based on ID. Even you don't have, doesn't matter. We can use find method, we can access and we can use it. But it is already having. So what we will do now, on the button click, what we have to do. So we need to use an Axios get method. It will get, so HTTP fakestoreapi.com/products/ID. ID is coming from, what is it? E dot target dot target dot value. Value is button value. Then what we will do then? Actually, it is going to return one product. So we will get a response. That response we will add into set cart items. Set cart items is an array. Into that array we will push. So that means we are using set cart items is an array. What is the cart items? This is into the array we need to store something. How do we store? One product related information we need to send, but that is not the condition here. Why? Because cart items is an array. Into the array you cannot assign a value, initialize a value, you need to push a value because multiple items must be added. So what is the getter here? Getter is what? Cart items. Into cart items I am using push function. Which one should be pushed into it? We have to use response dot data. I am pushing that. Roughly, this is not yet done. Just we are pushing. That means cart items is an array. Into that cart items array, we are pushing the values. And this value is nothing but it is returning that particular product. That particular product is added into that. What I will do? So after pushing that, what we will do here, I will use console.log. Console.log. I will use cart items just to confirm what it is having. Observe carefully here. So we will open the console. Let's open the console here. And actually in the console, key related information will come because I think for card we haven't given key. For every card that we generate, we need to give a key. What is the key? Product ID. Because every iterating item must have a key, right? Now what I will do, I will click add to cart of any button. Then you can see it is an array of, you can see two items are coming. One is empty, another one is this. That means now you don't need initialization of first item. You can just put an empty array. Let's do that now. That means you don't need the initialization. Why you don't need the initialization? Because it is already sending. You just need an empty array. Now what will happen by default? There is nothing inside. You click on add to cart of this one. Add to cart of white gold plated. And you see it is an empty array. In this array, there is only one item here. So you selected some more here, add to cart. There is two items here. The 7th and 13th one are coming. So that is a simple cart items contains all the data. Now what we will do is here, we will create, and that means you don't need this set cart items anymore. Because that is required if you want to initialize any value. We are not initializing, we are just pushing the values. Now we need one more option. What is it? Constant cart count. So we have set cart count and it is use state and cart count is initially 0. This cart count I will display here. In the design, in the badge, here 0 is not a standard value. It is coming from where? Cart count. It is coming from cart count. Cart count is initially 0. Okay. We will add one more function here. That means we are adding one more function. So what is the function? Function is get cart count. Get cart count we are accessing. What this function have to do is get the cart count. So we have set cart count into that. We have cart items. Cart items is an array dot length. Cart items length. Cart items length means how many items are there in the cart. That means what we are doing, how many items are there in the cart we are collecting and we are storing in cart count. So that means cart count is cart items is initially empty means 0. That means cart length is how much initially? 0. This we are displaying there. And on mount phase, we will get that cart count. Get cart count function also will execute. What first function is doing? Loading all categories. What second function is doing? Loading all products. What third function is doing? Counting how many products are there in cart items array, and it is returning its length. That length is an count number, which is initially 0. Now, what should happen when user clicks add to cart? After pushing, what we need to do? We need to put an alert. So after it push, we will put an alert saying that here we will keep an alert. So what alert we will do is alert will say that item name. How to get the item name? So we can get the item name. Item name is nothing but response dot data dot title. And I will put next line added to cart. Added to cart. This is the message we are giving. After that, what we will do? We will use get cart count. Get cart count means it will update the cart count. It is going to update the cart count. That means what is the functionality here is you are selecting jewelry. Only jewelry products will come. You see cart count is initially 0. And what we done, I clicked on this one, add to cart. It says added to cart. And I say, okay, then cart count is 1. It is updating the cart count there. Now what we will do here, I selected some men's clothing. I added another item. Then you see men's cotton jacket added to cart. And you say, okay, now we have 2 items in the cart. Now what should happen when user clicks this button? Those items should display. That means when user clicks that button, then those items must display. That depends on how you want to display. Because usually to display, what we can do, we can use pop-ups. In the pop-up, we can show those items. What are the items in the cart? Or right side itself, we can display in a panel what are the items they added. But actually to create pop-ups, you need React materials and you need jQuery models. You know, Bootstrap have model. Bootstrap models, you have to use them. And Bootstrap models means Bootstrap models depend on jQuery. You need to attach jQuery functions also because they don't work directly. I hope you know. So usually what happens, for example, on this button click, I want a pop-up. I have a div. You know, Bootstrap class have a model. And usually model have a div. So this have a class model have dialogues. Model dialogues are having a div. The class name is model content. Model content is having here a div. So this is the class name. We have model header. And here we have a heading, right? Your cart items. And actually this model have an ID cart. This is having an ID called cart. This should open when user clicks on this button. That means we use data BS target. Target is what? Hash cart. We have data BS toggle. Toggle is what? Model, like this. These are jQuery functions. But remember these jQuery functions, in order to use them. So I am clicking on that. To use those jQuery functions, they must be Bootstrap jQuery enabled. If Bootstrap jQuery is enabled, then this will work. How do we use the Bootstrap jQuery? Actually, Bootstrap jQuery directly will not work. It needs a combination of jQuery again. We need jQuery, Bootstrap jQuery, then we can use. That means it's a process because already we know now. Suppose you know already this is an application. How you link a JavaScript file? How you link a JavaScript file? Actually, you see, Bootstrap provides all jQuery. Let's open here. This is the jQuery. Yeah. Here, Bootstrap is present. Yeah, Bootstrap is present. Bootstrap have dist in that JS Bootstrap bundle.js. This bundle.js contains all the logic. Actually, if you import that, it is enough. So that means you need to import this jQuery file so that you can use it. But Bootstrap bundle depends on jQuery first. That means first you need to import jQuery. After that, we need to import the Bootstrap bundle module sender. It's a lengthy process. That is the reason we will do this in a next level, because for that better to learn React Bootstrap and learn React materials. React materials will create the pop-ups and it will display them. As of now, temporarily, what I am doing, I am not using these models, because if you learned already Bootstrap and all, you know this. This is the concept of model. This model requires combination of jQuery and Bootstrap bundle.js, right? Initially, what we will do is just below that column means in the third column, section have a row. In that we have column 2, another one is column 10. I will do one thing. So here I will give the column as 8. After that, so after main, I will give here aside. Aside will have a class name column as 2. Here I am using that. And first column is how much? Navigation is 2. This is 8 and this is also 2. And here what we will do, we will just keep a div. And here we will put a simple heading or label. In that label, your cart items or simply your cart. That is enough. And here we are having class name. So this is a font weight bold. Below this, we will keep a table, and a table will have a class name table and table hover. In the table, we will display a simple. So that is what table header, TR, it contains title and it contains price. Or you can also add a preview. So preview and price I will give. So preview and price. And we have a T body here. Okay. This is the cart I am adding right side. Right side, I am adding your cart. Now what should happen when user clicks on this button? Here content should come. That means those content should display. Actually, here what we will do, we will display all the cart items. Right? How to display the cart item? You can show and hide them. How to show and hide, I will give. Here what we have to do, cart items dot map. We have to read every item, and for every item we need to generate a row. In that row, we will put a key item dot ID. And here we will put an table cell. In that cell, we will display what it is. Image. First one is preview na image. Image width is some 50, and image height is also 50. And image will have an SRC. SRC we will give as item dot image. Okay. Next, in the next cell, we want to display item dot price. Initially, that is the empty one. We don't have anything inside that, right? That is empty. Now I select jewelry and I am adding any jewelry product here and add to cart. Okay, that is added there. That is the cart item that we are having. So that means now I am adding one more. I am adding any product here and add to cart. It is added there. If we want, we can show and hide the content, or we can pop up and we can display in a pop-up, right? Later we will design those pop-ups, because for that, again, you need to add a lot of jQuery functionalities. I will show you how we can do that. This is, if you want to hide and display, that's your wish. That means, for example, when I click on this, it should hide. Again, click, it should show. You learned already style binding, class binding, right? That is why you learned style binding, class binding. How you will show and hide this element. That is the reason why you learn style and class bindings, right? How you will hide and show these elements. So usually what we will do is, for that cart items button, I will write here a style object here. We will write a style object constant. And style binding requires. So we will write as a toggle, show toggle. Okay. Set show toggle. Show toggle is a use state and it is an object. This object contains a property called display. Display by default is none. Display is by default none. That is an style object. Already we know how to bind the styles. Now I need to bind this show toggle to this area. Where is that area? This is the aside area, right? This is the aside area. This is the div where we have. For this div, we will put a style and we will access, what is it? Show toggle. Show toggle contains which style attribute? It is having hide. It is not displayed there. When it should display, I click on that button, it should display. That means on the button click, we need to write. You know how to write. So we need a function. And what is that function? Handle cart toggle click. Cart toggle click, what to handle? Set, what we have to set? We have to set show toggle. Into that, we need to keep what it is, display. Display as what? Block. We need to set display as block. We can write conditions. What is the condition? If already display is block, keep it as none. If it is none, keep it as block. We can show, we can tag, we can change that. We can dynamically handle that. This should happen when user clicks on button. Handle cart toggle click. That here we will write. At the top, we need to write on click. On click. Now you don't need all this because these are related to Bootstrap. And here we need to write handle cart toggle click. Handle cart toggle click. And you can see now I selected jewelry and added an item. Okay, now one item is there. I click on that, it will display. You can write a simple if condition. If it is already true, then set to false. Already false, set to true. That you can write. I will give you some task here. You try to do now. Based on this, you try to do some tasks. Right? What you have to try here is, what is your responsibility is. So in this design, when user is adding the items, into cart, what you should do is you should display the cart summary. That means you should say total how much. And this total should be changing according to the items in the cart. According to the items in the cart. That's one functionality you do. Another, later I will add some more to this. But this is a basic concept first. First, if you can do this, then you can try others. Right? That is the basic concept. So here, later what we can do, we can add remove buttons. When user clicks the remove, that item must be removed from the cart. Adding remove button is a nothing complicated thing here. What we do, this is where the table is generated. So the table is displayed in the aside area. Yeah. In this last cell, we will keep here. We will display a button, and the button will have a class BTN and BTN danger. And we have a span. So class BI trash fill. And you can see there is a delete button here. Now, what should happen when user clicks the delete button? That item must be deleted. Can you tell me the logic? How it can happen? Now, you cannot delete from their API. It's not possible. They don't have any such method. In the front end itself, you have to do that manipulation. That means in order to do that, first you must able to get the index number of that row. You must able to get, because you know any item how you can remove from array. From any item you can remove from array by using which option? Splice. By using splice, we can remove. Right? What splice will do? It will try to remove any specific item based on index number. That means if you can get the index number of this item in this array, then you can remove that item. Now the question is how to get the index number. How do we get the index number of that item and remove that? That means actually on trash click, what we do? We need to get the index number of that particular item and remove. For example, so how we sent ID? We sent ID through values. We send the ID. Actually, you see now here, we are using which function for displaying cart items? We are using which function for displaying cart items? Map. This is an array function called map. Can you tell any another function instead of map to read all items from array of JavaScript? Any another array method to read all the elements from an array instead of map? Actually, here, suppose I will remove this one. Actually, this cart items is an array. It have for each. Array have a for each. What array for each will do? It will return the index number. That means it have two parameters actually. One parameter is item. Another parameter is index. Another parameter is I is index. That means it is going to return two things. One is item, another one is index. So now what this index will do? It returns the index number of that particular item. That means here you see, suppose I am refreshing this. You try them. I'm just giving the references here. Add to cart and that item should display there. Right? You try displaying those. We can use for each, where for each can return what? Index number. It can return the index number. Right? There are so many methods. What is another method we have? We can use you can use the filter method. Filter will return all, find will return only specific, and there is a method called find index which will return the index numbers, right? But using map, we are reading every item, and you observe here every item we are accessing. This is a callback function which is using every item. Map is also having an index number. Map is also having an index. Not only for each, map is also having an index. That map also provides a index. It is going to provide the index number. Now what happens is on this button click, if I can send this index, for example, I will do one thing here. What we will do, we will write a function. So we write a function. What is the function? So handle remove click, handle remove click. So we will use event argument. And what we will do is, so here for this button, so this is the button we are having, trash button. Trash button is delete button. For this button, we will give a value. Value of the button is I. I refers to the index number. That means now what we are doing is we are collecting that value here. That means I will put an alert. That means e dot target dot what value, e dot target dot value. And you can see here, this is the content we are having. Add to cart, one is added. Add to cart, second one is added. These two items are in the cart, and this one have to get the index number. But we haven't given handle. Handle remove click on this button we have to write. So on click what? Handle remove click. So that will fire up and it will display. So add to cart, one item, add to cart, another item, two items are there. This is the index number. It is showing undefined. Why we cannot get the value for that button? You see it is getting 0 and this is getting 1, but sometimes it is returning undefined. Currently it is returning 0 or 1. Sometimes it is returning undefined. This actually we haven't learned about events. I told you we will learn detailedly about events later. In event handling, we have two parameter related options. One is target. We have current target. We have target and current target. Current target will get the reference correctly, because in various occasions, target is unable to get the value. Actually, there is a property called, what is it? Current target. This I will explain later when we are learning with events. As of now, you try target, but in some situations, if the target fails, you have to use. This will get the correct index. How to remove that item from that index? I hope you can try now. That means how we can remove that. Current target will get the value. How you will remove? There is an cart items. Cart item we have to use splice. Splice which one? E dot current target dot what value. From there, how many items to remove? 1. After that, we need to update the cart items. We need to load the cart items again. Then it will get the fresh list. Otherwise, it will not get. So what you have to do, you need to write a function for loading cart items. Generally, we directly loaded the cart items. You write another function, just like how we loaded products. You load cart items also, so that whenever item is removed, you can update, right? These are two tasks for you. I just given hints, right? Your task is add remove functionality for cart items. Second task is you add the summary of the total amount that need to be paid based on the items in the cart. And that should update when user adds an item or when user removes the item. That is your task. Can you try? right? If you tried successfully, you can post that into Classroom. In Google Classroom, I will give you a link where you can upload your examples, right? You post your example if you have successfully done, so that others also can try. If there is any issue in class, I will explain, right? But that is your task to do. Once you can do that, later with events, we can do lot of work. Like we can put checkboxes for filtering. We can put sliders for filtering, filter by price, filter by category, filter by different products. Those all we can implement after learning about different types of events. We can manage them, right? But first, this is what you have to try. I hope you can try this. I will upload this entire example into the classroom. This is one component only. That is shopper.what JSX. In one component, everything we created. But later, after you learn about routing like concepts, you can design like a perfect single page application. Single page application means navbar is a separate component, header is a separate component, cart item separate component. We will have multiple components in the page. That means all currently we designed as one component, but later we will create multiple components and implement same example. So, but first you should able to design this. Once you can do this, I will show you another example, how we can add items, we can remove items, and how we can manage the items. What we will do, we will create our own APIs and we will try to work with those APIs. We must able to design all the CRUD operations and handle them. That we will see in the next levels, that we will see in next session. So first you try this. In next session, several more topics are there. Like we need to learn event binding now. Once we know event binding, we can do more functionalities with this, right? We will see how event binding works, right? What is event binding? Already you know two events, on click, on change. But detailedly about event binding and all different events we will see. Then we can do more with this kind of example. Okay, that we will continue in our next session. Okay, I hope you are clear, right? So next session, we will have session tomorrow. So Monday, again, our session will be on Monday, right? So tomorrow you can come if you have doubts. Tomorrow we will have doubts, right? Tomorrow we will have all the doubts part, right? So our regular session again will be on Monday, right? Tomorrow doubts, only doubts, right? If you have doubts, you can come so we can clarify the doubts, right? Try this example by Monday and handle that. Otherwise, I will explain in the class how to manage. Okay. Then tomorrow I'll continue, right?